Hello, everyone. It's Henry or Evie, and I'm here today with.
Hi, I'm Wesley Bergeron, and I got sixth place in the regional remote duel Genesis event for the side deck.
Awesome. And I see here you have a bunch of lovely punk stuff for us. Is that the deck that you did this
Oh,
with?
oh yes, Punk Psychic. I love Punk Psychic. So yes, this is what I did it with. Uh, yeah.
Awesome. Before we continue on, do you have anyone you wish to shout out, be it personal channel of your own, anything like that? Any friends?
Yeah, of course. I'd like to shout out my wife, of course, and my friend at work, Zach, who always play Yu-Gi-Oh with, and then of course the locals community near me. We call ourselves the Branded Baddie Community. Let's go.
Awesome. Awesome. Would you like to show off the deck for us
Yeah,
today?
yeah, of course. So I guess let's get started. I'm gonna do a deck profile for it first before I kind of get into the nitty gritty. Um, so. Let's start with the punk stuff. So we have three Zayaman. This is, of course, one of the starters of the deck. It kind of plays mostly your punk engine, normal summon, search out what you need to do, and get going on that. So that is an easy three of. Um, we have Foxy Tune, which is an even better starter. It costs a little bit more because you have to discard a card for it, but it helps you stay able to do both lines, both punk and psychic. But I guess we'll get to that a little bit later. Um, I play two Rising Scale. I know people like to play three of this card, but because it is not a starter on its own, and sometimes seeing it without any other punk stuff can feel really bad, especially in this engine where you play a little bit less of it. I think this card should be at two. Some could argue one. I like two. I think it's nice to have. If you do it one turn, you can do it again later. Um, and then we'll go one of, so we got Deer Note. You need one of these for the combo. Wagon, I do play the field spell, so I play one of those. Um, and then Charakusai. And this is kind of optional. I feel like Wagon and the field spell, all of these are optional, and you might see some people that opt to not play any of these in Psychic Punk. I like it just because you get extra draws off it, kind of to refund costs for your uh, some of your psychic lines and some of your punk lines. So drawing two is always a good thing. I like it. It helps round out some of the non-engine choice. So I guess we'll move on to the psychic stuff. So three of Mind Procedure. Mind Procedure is a great starter in this deck. Normal summon and go grab E-Telly, which I guess we'll get to later, but I play one of those. Um, just overall, great card, great starter. Uh, Same thing with Serene Psychic Girl. Basically, you're either summoning out Mind Procedure or you're summoning out the punk monsters with it. Usually Zayaman. It does lock you into psychics from the extra deck, which means you can't do a like more full body version of the punk combo if you use it as a starter for punks. But that's okay. It's still a great card. You still want to run three of it for consistency. I opt to play three of these prototype Psychic Blaster, which is a great extender in the deck. Especially since this works with any psychics. It kind of just you can get stuff jumping out of your hand for free. And then also you can summon it back later by banishing stuff, and that banish is extremely helpful. So having this a part of your combo as your starter is super helpful for sometimes making your boards even bigger than you thought possible. Um, I play one Hush Psychic Minister. It's a good search, good e-telly target if you are doing your lines, just because this can go into your level 6 Synchro Serene Psychic Sorceress, I believe, yes. So you need her in order, or you need him and her in order to enable teleport fusion lines, which we'll get to here. Um, these are our teleport spells. So I play one E-Tele, which of course is 25 points at this point. Um, so that's that's a lot, and a very heavy cost for the engine, which kind of brings the non-engine level down quite a bit. But it is important. You need to search it off of Mind Procedure. Parallel Teleport, great card. It allows you to tribute a psychic monster and then swap it into something else and then take damage equal to the difference in levels. Really good for dodging targeted negation, which I really love. Um, it is sometimes hard to wield and obviously not as good as E-Tele on its own, because you do have to tribute something. Um, you don't use this in your combo lines usually. It's usually for interaction on your opponent, but it is still good to have a three of because it is a little bit just like emergency teleport, and in a pinch can get you what you need to do. The last teleport quick play spell we have is teleport fusion. Um, you want one of this just to set off of Serene Psychic Sorceress. Summons out your crazy boss monsters for the psychic half of the deck on your opponent's turn. And I think just we'll get to him, but the board banish on this card or on the fusion summons is insane and determines games. I'm pretty sure I believe that. So that is the psychic half of the deck. We'll go through
So,
non-engine. Oh yeah,
uh,
absolutely. What?
I would like to ask a couple of questions here regarding emergency teleport.
Yes.
We saw it got a pretty impactful point decrease on the list. Um,
Yes.
is that one of the driving factors behind why you decided to play this deck today?
So, no, I actually have had this deck since the beginning of Genesis, and the point total changes have altered the deck very slightly in different ways. A lot of it just affecting non-engine viability. So, when it went up and all the punk monsters started getting their points, because we went through it. The Foxy Tune is actually 7 points each. So I dedicate what 21 points here, and then Rising Scale is 3 points each. So that's 6 points there. Um, it's costly to run that kind of stuff, and so E-Tele at 25 allowed me to play an extra Foxy Tune, and then allowed me to kind of put a little bit more points into my non-engine. Um, but like you were asking, no, I've always had this deck, and it kind of always has done the same thing. Um, at the start of Genesis, this deck was pretty dang good. Um, I don't think it was like the best in the room or anything, but Psychic Punk was definitely a deck to beat. And hitting all the punk monster stuff uh, constantly over the next couple of uh, point updates was kind of harsh, I feel like, by Konami, because I feel like it's gotten pretty power crept regardless. Um, either way, no, that card going down is great for me, but I don't think it's the reason why I decided to play it today. I feel comfortable with it, is why I decided to play this deck.
That's awesome. It's great to hear people having success with some of their favorite decks in this format. Like, one of the greatest things of Genesis is being able to play the decks you like and still perform with them, as we're seeing here. You taking top 8 at a regional, playing your pet deck in a format that's
Yeah.
so dominated by these top decks like Blitzclick and Sacred Beast.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the thing is, before this, literally last night, I was looking at a Blitzclick core that I had, and I was contemplating, whether to play this or Blitzclick, and I, I was looking at the points update, and I didn't really know how that points update would affect the list, or what non-engine I should be running right now. And so I looked at my psychic deck that I've been playing forever, and I know Punk like the back of my hand. I love Punk. I mean, clearly I got the mat, the field center. I've got everything. I've got a whole max rarity core for advanced. Um, but I love punk, and so I was like, I'm gonna go into this, I doing something I know and I'm very comfortable with.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, with how this deck performed with you after the change to E-Telly on the points list, do you see a world where they can keep lowering E-Telly or maybe even your punk monsters?
I would think that they are going to keep eTelly where it is, or if they do, slightly lower. Um, eTelly is an exceptional searcher, but I feel like it's less flexible than stuff like Rhoda. eTelly almost exclusively is like really good for Punk Psychic. As far as modern decks go, I can't really think of many other decks. Maybe geez, what's that deck with the assault
Assault mode.
assault mode? Yes, assault mode has the number or the level 1 that they can probably summon out with this, but I feel like the restriction on it being psychics and under level 3s is tough because there's not a lot of those in that game that really matter. So I think they should lower it, but I'm also just, I play this deck a lot. Um, I
Very
think they could
fair.
lower it.
Very fair. Alrighty, let's take a look at your non-engine now then.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so obviously Three Chalice. I love this card. I think everybody loves this card. Being at 1 point. Uh, just fun. It's a good card. You gotta run it, really. Um, I don't know if there's much more to say about it. Cosmic Cyclone. So obviously, Blitzclick is running around. Sacred Beast is running around. You've got Fairy Tale running around. I ran into all of those things. I feel like Cosmic Cyclone on their most important cards is really important. Um, I stop like the only Blitzclick interaction today with Cosmic Cyclone because they kind of bricked and they needed a return stroke to resolve. And luckily, I had a Cosmic Cyclone in hand to finish that off. And because it didn't resolve, I got the game. So yeah, I really like Cosmic Cyclone. Maybe I should have run 3 of it, honestly. Um, so yeah, that's where I stand on it. Uh, Here is Ghost Ogre. So in this deck, it is uniquely positioned to be better because uh, off of Punk Jam Dragon Drive, you can search this card. Any level 3 psychic monster in your deck, this is a level 3 psychic monster. I run 2 of it because I think it is a conveniently low point total to be running, and it is a great hand trap. So it hits stuff like Fairy Tale pretty hard when they're trying to fuse with like their equip spells. Of course, Blitzclick also is another one that it hits because you can hit their continuous spells or I think their field spells on activation, so you can't really do anything about that. But also, yeah, anything with field spells or continuous spells, this is great against. Um, yeah. And then a weird one that I've been trying out is Hecahan's Gatos. Um, so DD Crow went up, and I never liked DD Crow to begin with. I was kind of experimenting this as a 0 point alternative, anyways, because it puts a body on the board and can steal something from the graveyard, which I feel like has uh unintended value sometimes. Sometimes you're able to steal some pretty cool stuff with this. Today against MBT of all people, I stole his Ghost Ogre out of his graveyard and threatened that on his Fairy Tale board. So it was really cool. Um, Although I don't know if it's performing as well because of the condition that they have to add from deck to hand. Eh, it it's slow, is what I'll say, but it does have it creates a threat. I might bump this down to 2. Try to throw another Cosmic Cyclone in there somewhere. I don't know. I don't have the points for it right now, but maybe this is a 2 of or a side deck choice.
That's very
Uh,
fair. I
Yeah.
will note that a Ghost Ogre summoned by Hecahan's Godos is not actually a legal activation because it will get banished by the effect of Hecahan's Godos, making it so it can't send to the graveyard as cost.
Interesting. Well, either way, it didn't resolve. He negated it. So he negated the Ghost Ogre on field, which was
Oh
fun.
no.
So hey, there's that. That's a fun one.
Hey, sometimes the best threat is a threat that's not actually there.
I guess so. Good retrospect. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't do something illegal there. Um, no, but I mean, it's also a level 7, which is kind of convenient if you want to put this and say uh, a Serene Psychic Girl up, right? So 7, 2. Um, say you have another Psychic on the board. Serene Psychic Girl can bump her level and Goddess's level up by 1 and then go into like Pep or like yeah, you can go into Pep with that, which is crazy. Godos is crazy. I like him. Uh, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I keep him in as 3. The more I talk about him, the more I like him.
Fair
Um,
enough. What are the rest of our non-engine choices here?
well, last 3 is Skullmeister. So Skullmeister is just a 0 point hand trap. I like Skullmeister. I think it's a neat hand trap doing the format. I think it's crazy that they haven't pointed it yet, even though it is pretty weak. I mean, admittedly, it's weak. Um, but just having a hand trap is nice. Uh, I opt to run more hand trap decks rather than board breakers. So, all right. And I guess if we're good to keep going, I'm good to go on the extra deck.
Yeah, of course. You
All
have the
right,
floor. The floor is all yours right now.
let's start with our fusion monsters that we summon off Teleport Fusion. So we have Absolute Axon Kicker and Axon Kicker Oracle. So as I discussed earlier, Teleport Fusion summons out this guy. You pay 2,000 life points and you banish everything on their board. It's insane. It wins games. Also, when it's out there, it can't be destroyed by card effects. So Blitzclick, who? Who cares? Uh, you know, that's a great effect. And then if it does, for whatever reason, go to the graveyard, um, this can banish itself and then summon out Axon Kicker Oracle for free, just from your extra deck. And Axon Kicker Oracle is a inherent summon negate, which is also insane. Uh, but it is a bit more situational. I would almost never go into this on its own. Um, unless for some reason I open up Teleport Fusion and like really need to chew through something where I know they're going to uh, summon or something. I don't know. This is I never go through this unless I really think I can beat their board with that specific effect, the negation effect. Um, I like the banish. It's huge. For Punk, we've got Rising Carp, we've got 2 Amazing Dragon, and we got a Jam Dragon Drive and a Jam Fever. So, Rising Carp is a part of the long combo with Punk, where you fuse with Sharakusai into him. Um, having this in the deck and Sharakusai in the deck, it's optional to have Sharakusai in the deck because you can get around with more. But with this, you can kind of get into more of your punk effects. So this enables us during our punk line to play Wagon and get the field spell. And because the field spell activates for drawing on any psychic paying effect, it doesn't matter if you run through your punk line and you only activate like a 1 effect to draw, because you'll go into your psychic line, which will also draw you your second card. You're almost always getting full value off your Punk Jam Extreme session, which is important, and why I decided to dedicate the extra space in my deck and extra deck for this card. Um, so yeah, we'll go into Punk Jam Dragon Drive, another pointed card. So this is at 15, I believe. It is great because it is the thing that bridges these two decks together. It is the glue. You pay 600 life points on summon, and you can add any level 3 psychic monster in the game. Usually, if you are bridging between, like, if you don't have access to it, you go grab uh, Mind Procedure. And as long as you still have your normal summon, you can normal summon this bad boy and start on your punks or your psychic line. If you can also go the opposite way around with some uh, fun lines and go from the psychic line into grabbing a Zayaman with this. Usually, I go uh, punk to psychic first. It baits out the most interaction, and you insulate your board with Jam Fever, which is great. So yeah, great card. Love that card. Uh, Amazing Dragon. So I play two of these. Uh, Sometimes I play one, but today I decided two because if you're playing Shark Husai, you might as well, in case you need a quick fusion into this. And I think you can quick fusion or quick synchro into this more often than you would in Pure Punk, which is interesting because the way I played Pure Punk mostly, we kind of just forego the ability to quick synchro on the opponent's turn. But in this deck, it's a different story. But on Summon the Sky, can target cards in the field up to the level or up to the number of level 3 psychics in your graveyard with different names, and then bounce them to the hand. Pretty dang good effect. It can also, which is what it's doing now, in from what I'm seeing, is when it's summoned, or not when it's summoned, it has an ignition effect to revive a punk from the graveyard, which is really good during the combo lines. It allows you to very early overlay into Jam Fever, which we'll talk about next. Jam Fever is a negation, a monster negation, and destroy, which is exceptionally good. You can also discard or detach to uh, draw a card. I almost never do that. You already draw enough in this engine, and there are very few times where that seems more worth it than having a monster negate. Of course, you could make this with 2 level 8s, but I almost never do. There's almost no reason to ever do that. But yeah, I guess we'll continue going with the psychic stuff. So let's start with Silent Psychic Magician. So this guy, you can make him essentially with Mind Procedure and Serene Psychic Girl, their levels unmodified, and then on summon just revives a card from graveyard or banishment that's a level 4 or lower psychic monster. Pretty insane. Considering it can do from banish as well, because over the course of your turn, if you say have to like banish one of your playmakers with Rising Scale, say like your only option to get Rising Scale out of your hand is to banish like a Wogon from hand, suddenly this can revive the guy, increases level by 1, and you can go grab the spell later. Cool card, cool tech, really enjoy it. But it is kind of just a line. Uh, Speaking of, we got Psychic Blaster Mark II. Exceptionally good card. Targets a card on the opponent's field, banishes one psychic monster from your graveyard, and then banishes the opponent's monster, and it gains life points. The life point gain really is important in this deck because with psychics and punk, you kind of get yourself down really low. I've gotten myself down to like the thousands. So having this as kind of like a little bit of a refund is nice and kind of important. Um, but yeah, good card. It can also special summon any banished monster. That's also insane. It can enable you to extend past like what your board should be doing into more stuff depending on what you have in hand. Really good card. Really good card. And then Serene Psychic Sorceress is next. You end with her on the field just to set Teleport Fusion. And then it optionally has this little secret effect, which is if it leaves the field, it can return target cards in the field. One, if you don't control a psychic, and two, if you do control a psychic, like Synchro or Fusion, I believe. And then returns them to the hand. Pretty good. It kind of threatens people to not interact with this card, which is weird. But fun nonetheless. So next, I guess let's do Cyframe Lord Zeta. Um, so this card is, I don't often go into it, but you can also summon it off of Parallel Teleport because it can summon from the extra deck a level 7 or lower psychic monster. Kind of crazy. It is Interruption. So banish two things, itself and a special summon monster. Not crazy. I like it. Crossmine Artrine is a weird one. People don't usually play this, but I found it kind of helpful. So sometimes if you end on full Punk Psychic, and you are able to take the prototype Psychic Blaster out of the graveyard, um, and make a level 8 with it somehow using Serene Psychic Girl, and you go into this, uh, if you it's a lot, but you could also have Sharakusai and Banish, special summon him, and now you have an option to go into Amazing Dragon on your opponent's turn. So that's why I feel like this deck is uniquely positioned to summon Amazing Dragon more likely than Punk. So I opt to play this guy for that very fringe edge case where the end board can be kind of insane. Draco Berserker of the Tenny is just a good 8 to go in. It's kind of an oh shit button. uh, you know, if you are going through your combo, you're getting interrupted like crazy, and you don't know if you're going to end on the best board, uh, here's a level 8 for you that just does it. It's really hard to get this on, like, when you're establishing a board because of the psychic locks. Um, Maybe if you forego the Punk Jam Dragon Drive, like you already have everything in hand for some reason, this is an option. Um, so yeah, it's good. I played as a flex option in the extra deck. And then we have the two big boys, the 11s. Duration. So this is a good card going first. Uh, at the end of your Punk combo, you just make this, and it is either a Raigeki or a Harpy's Feather Duster for face-up stuff. Really good stuff. Also, it kind of refunds all the life points that you've been spending, because every time a card on their field resolves, you get 300 back. Pretty good. It also triggers Punk Tram Extreme Session to draw a card, since you have to pay to tribute it to do the board wipe. Uh, really good. This card is phenomenal. When it came out with the Punk support stuff, I was like, oh, this is insane. And then, of course, the big boy, Big Daddy, 20-point monster, Psychic and Punisher. He is a champion, and the reason why this deck is positioned the way it is. I mean, 3,500, and then during battle declaration, or I guess at the start of battle, you can bump them up to the difference in your life points. So that alone, as long as you are under 3,500 life points, you can just like one shot people with it. So it's insane. It also acts as removal by paying 1,000, so you can hit that threshold on its own. Um, so you banish one card you control and one card your opponent controls. But yeah, that's crazy. So that is my extra deck. Uh, Anything before we go into the side?
I assume everything with your extra deck worked as intended. Was there anything you felt needed to be replaced? Like, did everything feel
No,
okay?
I think it feels okay to me. I play a lot of Punk, a lot of that stuff, and so I really don't know if there's any great replacements for any of these cards. Um, Previously, I was playing a version without a Rising Carp and without an Amazing Dragon and without a Crossmine Archfiend, and I was opting to play uh, the Sharakusai-less version with 3 targets for Ultimate Slayer. So that I would have that in my sideboard. But for this event, I was like, 3 points is, I'm not dedicating that to Ultimate Slayer this time around. I'm gonna put those extra points that I got refunded back from Telly going down into an extra copy of Ghost Ogre and the uh, Foxy Tune. So that's the way I rationalized it out of my head.
Very fair, very fair. And then what did your side deck look like?
All right, side deck is kind of work in progress, but interrupted kaiju slumber and the three targets for it. So obviously kaijus are 0 points and insane breakers that we all love. Interrupted kaiju slumber is weird. Um, if you draw into too many kaijus, it goes offline. I did not have any problems with it this time, but I have had problems with it in the past. Uh, but for being a 0 point board wipe, I think it is, you know, untouchable as far as like being an insane board breaker. Because you also have to run other crazy board breakers to enable it, which is not a bad thing. Um, so yeah, I didn't have any problems with it this tournament, and I think it went quite well. So I like these cards. I miss Illusion Gate. It was a little too powerful though. And then I play two Hey True Nades, which I think is insane that it costs 0. Um, maybe I should have played more. Maybe drop a Gatos for this card. Kind of crazy. Breaks through back row heavy boards like Blitzclick kind of uh hates this. Um, Fairy Tale hates it a little bit. Just good card. Good card. You never know when you need it. Um, I here's a couple of nasty ones. So I played two Gravity Collapse and two Mind Over Matter. So Gravity Collapse is obviously the disgusting floodgate where you flip it. It is a uh, counter trap, so it's kind of hard to respond to, and you just tribute a psychic monster, and then your opponent can't summon for the rest of the turn. Um, that's I did not see it at all this tournament. So, but when it does resolve, it's just insane. I think this card needs to be pointed like yesterday. It's too powerful. This one's fun. Um, it is kind of like a solemn, but for psychics. It does kind of the same thing. So it tributes a psychic type monster, so not really a synchro, but it can just negate uh, any kind of summon or activation. So pretty cool little solemn for the psychic engine. One of the guys at locals that actually tried this out clued me onto this, so I was pretty ecstatic to see that when he flipped that on me. I was like, oh, I haven't even thought about that card. That's because as far as the psychic specific non-engine goes, there's not a lot of it that's really great. Um, and then the last card, I just like Kurikara Div Incarnate. I don't know if I've ever like successfully used it to its fullest potential, but I like the idea that you let your opponent true through all your interaction, and then you just summon this on them, and then attack them with a giant butt. So yeah, I like this card. I don't know if it's reaching its full potential. I want to get the full arts of it because it looks pretty. I guess while I'm at it, on the side deck, there is one card that I thought about this for. I just didn't have time to go through my bulk. It's called Eraser Laser, and what it does is it non-target sends a card to graveyard that was summoned from the extra deck, and then they gain life points equal to the difference. So not only does that help your game plan of like making your life point difference like much bigger. Um, but it's also just non-targeting into grave. It's not destruction, so Blitzclick can't get the value out of it. So I did think about that. I might try it later, uh, but it is single target removal, so there's that. But yeah, that is the deck profile there. Um, so yeah, do you have any questions?
Uh, Not really. It's really awesome seeing someone play so many cards that aren't necessarily the best options, but are some of their favorites, like the Kurikara, the Punk Engine, etc. You're really just like you're all in on the stuff you like, and your dedication to this strategy and these cards like really showed success today, and that's really awesome to see. And I'm glad to see that and see more of that in the format. I hope we get to continue to see you succeed with this deck because this deck is very cool, and I want to see the future innovations that you end up making with it.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any like closing thoughts, any suggestions for people who might want to also start to learn this deck?
Yes, so I think I think Psychic itself is an exceptionally underexplored deck by the community. Um, it is low rarity, low cost to get into. I think anyone who's trying to get a budget build of anything can make this deck work. Same with Punk. Psychic Punk just goes together really well. If you were to start on it, I might try less of the Punk engine. But if you really like build-a-board strategies, just go all in on the Punk engine. Go for the Madam Spider. Go for the Trap. Those things are awesome. Uh, I just love Punk, um, and I hope that someone will see this and be like, "Damn, that deck is kind of cool."
Awesome. Well, I hope that you are an inspiration to someone out there because I think this stuff is genuinely really cool. Thank you for coming on here. Thank you for sharing this with us and giving us your in-depth breakdown to everything. And like I said, I hope to see you succeed in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Alrighty. Have a good one, everyone.